Hello friends, welcome to your only channel Times of Coding. Today in our series Scala Express, we will learn about sealed classes and option type. By using option type, you can eliminate the probability of getting null pointer exception permanently while programming. This is the most usual exception a developer can get in his experiences. In previous session, we have learned about case classes, pattern matching, and pattern guard matching. In this session, we will learn about sealed classes, option type, and pattern match in option type. In previous session, we have seen similar example, but not with sealed keyword. When we define abstract class with sealed keyword here, that means our class cannot have subclasses except this current file. So that means we can define n number of subclasses of this company type, but only in the company type.scala file. I have tried in this example defining subclasses of company type here from example.sc. SC stands for Scala worksheet. And here I'm importing sealed class, if you see, and company type. Now when I try to extend this company type, I got an compile time error. So that's what functionality we get if we define our classes as sealed. Now the other advantage of having sealed classes is like earlier we used to match pattern with all the possible matches. And in fact, to cover the default case, we have used wildcard also. And this wildcard we were using if we left any pattern match type. But in the case of sealed class, because all the subtypes will exist in same file only, so you don't need to cover any edge cases like we were covering earlier with the wildcard character. That's the second advantage of sealed classes. Now moving on to option type. Option is a standard type name in Scala. And by the mean of option, when we define any value, so in Scala, if we define any value with this keyword, that value is supposed to have two interpretation. One is with sum of anything and other one is none. None stand for missing of value, and that we will see in this example also. So here I'm defining one variable called capital. In that I'm keeping United States with Washington, Russia with Moscow, China with Beijing. I hope by this time you got what this map stands for. This map is basically having the country and its capital. That's why we have named this as capitals. Okay, so then we are defining capitals dot get or capitals get. By this time you would have understood dot is optional in Scala while calling the methods. Okay, so here we are calling capitals get United States. So we should have Washington because we have defined Washington as the capital of United States. So we are getting this value out of the above collection. And if you notice the type, now this is the important part which I would like to draw in your attention. Now if you notice the value type here, it is option of a string type. And since it is option of a string type, at the successful execution, it is getting us sum of Washington. Now what if this execution is not successful? So I'm giving capitals get Japan, and Japan we have not defined in above collection. So technically this should not have any value. So here we again getting option type of a string, as a result 1, and this value is none. None means capital of Japan is missing in our data collection. So that's how we eliminate probability of getting null pointer exception in Scala. Now here is one example I'm keeping to get value out of options type. So I'm defining one variable called retrieve option value, option type of any, and then we are passing case statements here. And this case statement will check for sum of x. If it is sum of x, it should get us x only, and if it is null, it should get us null. Now let's call this function. So I'm calling this function with the same above collection experiment which we have done here. So I'm giving the same value, retrieve option value, and inside the retrieve option value I'm passing this function call. Okay, so here we are getting Washington because this expression of code will get us sum of Washington And this method will convert the sum of Washington to Washington, as we have done here. The next thing is we are calling this same function for Japan, and we are getting null as we expected. This was a straightforward retrieval. In fact, we can use likewise things in loop also. Since capital is a type of map, we can iterate this map collection with the help of for loop here. And this for loop will assign values of this capital map into country name and city name. And here we are keeping debug message called the capital of country name is city name. So after execution, we will get likewise results here. Now you may think, what if some continuous stream of data is coming into our application and we wanted to validate the data? So what we were doing here is we were simply logging the data as debug message. Now what if we wanted to validate? So here in this example, we will validate. First I'm creating birds variable, and in this we are storing sum of eagle, sum of bat, and none. And all elements we are keeping as list. Now with the help of for loop, we will iterate over this list and we will take it sum of birds. And then we will keep it print birds. Now this was the simplest operation I have performed, but you may think about enrichment, you may think about validation, you may think about anything to play around the data. So here I'm just doing one manipulation of data type from options of value to its value only. In theory, we have covered today content. Let's do some practical now. Okay, so here we have defined the sealed class as company type, and we have kept these three classes in the same file. So I will open another Scala worksheet, and here I will try to define content management case class with extent company type. Okay, so first we need to import, as we know, this company type class. Okay, it's been imported, but still it is showing underline. That means illegal inheritance from the sealed class company type. Okay, now we will see what will happen if we remove this sealed keyword. So here I'm removing the sealed keyword, and we will come again, and you see there is no red underline. That means sealed keyword restrict us to create subclasses except the current file. Okay, so let's comment that and come to the actual form of code. Okay, so after this we have discussed capitals type example. Here I have defined United States, Washington, Russia with Moscow, China with Beijing. Okay, and then I'm trying to get capital out of this collection. So let's run this worksheet. Okay, so first the capital collection got defined as collection immutable map here, string type, and then we have defined the values. And then for United States, it gave us sum of Washington. Japan we have not defined, so we got none as expected. Now after this example, we have discussed about retrieve option value function. Now this is the usual practice we follow in order to retrieve value out of the option type. So here we are keeping any type, and these cases will work as the retrieval case patterns. We'll take sum of x here, give x, we'll take none here, and we'll get null. Okay, so now our function is ready to serve us. Now inside this function, I'm keeping the same above statements which we have seen earlier. And this we have got sum and none. So let's see now. After execution, this will get us Washington instead of sum of Washington, if you see. And Japan statement will get us null instead of none here. So that's how we are retrieving value is in normal form. And if you wanted to keep the same option type, you can do it the above way. Okay, so then we are iterating capital collection with the help of for loop. Here we are assigning these value in a tuple called country and city name. And then we are printing as debug messages here. After iterating over this collection, we will get this outcome as we have kept in collection. Okay, so it was the retrieval pattern here. Now what if we wanted to do some enrichment? For that, I'm defining one variable called birds, Birds is a collection type of list, and it is holding value sum of eagle, sum of bat. That means option value here. So this is basically list, option type, and string type. Alright, so this is the type of our value I have kept here, and this is the value I have kept here. Now we will iterate over through this collection, and with bird, let me add wings here. Okay, so while iterating over, we will add wings in these birds. So I'll re-execute. So for eagle, it has added wings. For bat, it has added wings. As we expected. Null, that means nothing we will get out of it, because it is simply taking, or you may consider filtering, some type. That means all the successful execution it will take care, and it will get us debug messages from here. I hope you enjoyed today's content. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.